Sometimes we are tested not to show our weakness, but to discover our strengths. Welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu, where we keep it real and authentic. And today we are joined by a new friend of mine, Angie. Her story is out of hope and encouragement. She is a healed healer. Karibu sana, Angie.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy.
You're doing good?
Yes, I am.
So tell us, who is a healed healer?
A healed healer is somebody who has come to the realization that life breaks us. Life is meant to, create moments of pain as well as moments of joy. But we don't need to cling into the pain. We just need to work on our journeys of healing and keep on holding each other's hands to heal. And that's what I've chosen to do. And that's why I'm a healed healer, because I went through pain and I chose to heal from it. And as well, I've chosen to heal others from their own pain.
That is nice. And Angie, you are a life coach right now. And you've just told us that you're a healer because you've gone through your share of pain. And I normally say pain and purpose are connected. And I know for you to become a life coach, you have your life experiences. There's some challenges probably you've gone through. Just tell us, how did you get to say, now this is what I want to do? I want to become a life coach.
From the day I was born, I would say I was introduced to life in a painful way, because the day I was born, my mother lost a baby. As I lost a sister who was 6 years old. She died through an accident that was very painful. And that led into my mother getting into a lot of stress. So I did not breastfeed. So I was brought up in a village. That's where I was born. I was actually born on a roadside. That's why my name is Nzilani. Yeah. Okay. My mother was going to the hospital and she couldn't make it, and I was born on the roadside.
So Nzilani means a child born on the
road.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went back home, and in the evening, one of our siblings died. My mother had 10 children. I was the 8th. I'm the 8th born in the family, though some of them are late now. Then I grew up in the village. My parents were teachers. They were staunch Christians. So I can say I grew up in a very good background. We were taken care of. They were providers. They were always there. My father never drank, or I never saw them having, promiscuity or something like that. So I can say I grew up in a very sober background. Along the way, I got a job with an Indian farm. It was in the construction sector. Then I was, these jobs you get and you do everything. I can say that this job really introduced me to a lot of, getting to learn what happens in the job market, and also getting to learn how to multitask, do so many things at a go, be a leader, because I was also in charge of the office. I was in charge of paying the casuals. I was in charge of coming up with the payroll, giving the company's reports at the end of the month, and even those the reports that you give at the end of every week. So I was reporting to my boss, every other time, and it gave me some leadership skills that I didn't know that I had. And it also introduced me to talking to so many people, because I remember I said that I was also the salesperson. We were selling construction products. And of course, the people who are constructing are the people with money. So I also learned how to deal with people who are in leadership in this country. Yeah, so most of my clients were people who, I can say they took the village from me. They helped me because I also became a bit outgoing, and now that I started embracing life and fun.
And how long did you work with the company?
I worked there for 6 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, then of course I wasn't being paid well, but now that pushed me to start doing my own businesses. So the company was selling tiles, and they were not tiles and other construction products, but they were not offering labor at that time. So I saw a loophole and I took it. So I opened my own construction company when I was still there. And I had a fleet of fundis, guys who I would work with. I'd send them to go and do the job. I worked there for 6 years. And within that 6 years, I really learned a lot. I learned a lot in, even to the point of starting my own company.
Nice.
I opened my own construction company because we were selling tiles and other products in the construction field. And I would take the labor part of the business, because when we sell, we were not giving after sale service to do the laying. So I started just by laying tiles, and I had good clients because I would go all the way. I would have clients in Tanzania, in Uganda, and so many other places. I knew Runda. I didn't know where Runda is. When, of course, coming from the village, you don't know all those things. So after some time, I realized that I can do well even on my own out there, and I can embrace other companies. I can work with other companies that are selling other products. So I left work, I resigned, and now because I looked at it like I will be free to even work even harder. I will have more time to myself and more time to my company. So I went out and started working as a construction lady, and I can proudly say that I am one of the first lady contractors who joined the Kenya Federation of Master Builders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, although anyway, along the way, of course, challenges came, but I did well. I did well, and I realized that maybe I need to do something that will connect me with people more. So I did marketing. I enrolled myself to marketing. And when I was in my first semester of the degree, I got pregnant. I got myself in this relationship, and I got pregnant, and of course now studies and work was really hard. I tried. Instead of doing 6 units, I would do 2. I would miss classes. So it took me a lot of time to finish my degree. Yeah, and I left. When I was leaving work there, I had not even graduated, but I continued working. When I get time, I would resume classes, and I continue. And then I had my baby, and when my baby was 2 years, we parted ways with the father because he was in another serious relationship that he was a family man, and I didn't know initially, but when I came to know about it, I was already in it so deep that I couldn't get out.
So by the time you guys were meeting, hakuwa amekwambia anything about being in a relationship?
Hakuniambia from day one, but he told me at some point. And he didn't
give you like red flags or signs that shows he's committed somewhere else? They
were there. You know, when you're in a wrong relationship, you always know. You always see them, but there's something that you always tell them that, I'm special, I'm unique, I'm this, it's not going to happen to me. And I'm different. You always feel that even if there's another person out there, I might be more special than this other person. You always want to value yourself more than everyone else. And that's our weaknesses. We see red flags and we ignore them. So I would see all that. He could come to my house and he doesn't sleep over. He could, even when I was pregnant, he wasn't spending the whole day there. He would still go. But when I was pregnant, I already knew. And I remember when I told him that I'm pregnant, he said that I should have, terminate the pregnancy and wait until we are living together, then we can have. And then I was like, no, why do we have to wait? Why don't we start living together when we already have a kid? After all, this is our kid. We should just, embrace this. So along the way, we parted ways. We would talk once in a while. And I started now dating other people. I started going out. Remember, I loved fun. And,
and was he there during the baby's birth?
He was there. We parted when the baby was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years and some months. Along the way, I started dating other people. I started feeling the urge of, settling down because I'm doing well in my business and I have a son. and the only thing that I would feel was missing in me is a marriage. And it's usually a very strong urge for women, mostly when we start growing older. You pass 30 and you have a kid, and you start feeling like a man will come to complete me. What I'm missing, and mostly when we have money, what I'm missing now is a man. And that was an urge that was really very strong with me. And most of my friends were men at that time, and I can relate it to say that it's not that I didn't like women, but I felt more closer to the men because there's something they were filling me up with. Yeah. So now fast forward, I met this guy who seemed to be ready to be the one, because he swept me off my feet, and he would say what I wanted to hear. He would do what, the things that we want to hear.
Yeah.
I can remember that he even started saying that he wants to settle down, to get married from day one.
And those are the things that you wanted to hear, because sasa sasa umekuwa lonely.
Yeah. And and this is what I want. I want my son to have a father, someone who is working with him, and he was already getting, he was already growing up now to a teenager, almost a teenager, because it was 8 years after I had him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now this guy we met, he was a foreigner. He's from Ghana, and he was charming, I can say. He was quite charming, and we hit the road, and within 3 months, he moved into my house. Yeah, he moved into my house. I had good space. He was in the construction, not in construction, he was in the football business. He's an agent, football agent. So he had come to Kenya with footballers from his country to come and, get to try and see if he can get clubs that these footballers can play in. Then they sign contracts, and of course he gets paid. Although Kenyan football business is not really that well, except maybe nowadays that it's growing. But he saw a gap and he wanted to bring, that's what I believe in, I believe happened. So when I met him, he was staying with these footballers in one house, in a smaller house than even where I was. Then when I met him, I remember our first date. We went out for dinner, and when the bill came, he did not even look at it. So and I had this habit of knowing that if I'm going out, you remember I said that I was going out with men, we would go have a drink, we would go maybe nyama choma, and I would go back home. And I've always, what saved me from all this, I think, is my upbringing. And, because we were taught we were taught how to be good women, how to respect ourselves. So I would go to these parties, I would go out, and I know that I have enough money to pay my own bills. I have enough money to even contribute in the bills, and I had my own car to take me back home. So that is what really saved me. So when I met him, it wasn't a big deal for me to pay this bill. So I paid the first bill, and I dropped him back home to his house.
I'm sorry, I'm so tempted to say
Stop
international
laughing.
man didn't pay the bill.
Actually, yeah, that's how he used to even call himself.
International man.
Hey, Joe, it's like you know him. So I dropped him back to his house. The following day, I picked him when I was going to check on my project. So I picked him, we went together, and I think he saw what I was, the magnitude of the project I was doing, because we were building a church. And at that time, I was the contractor in charge. So I just inspected my work, I paid the workers. Of course, now he's seeing that I'm unleashing cash, And we went back and we went for lunch, and later on, I think we went to an ATM. At some point, we went to an ATM. He wanted to get some money. And when I was doing this construction works, I one time had the urge to travel, and somehow I traveled to Ghana. Now, before I met him, I had traveled to Ghana through friends who I have here in Kenya. So I traveled, and I was hosted by their family, and so I knew the exchange rate of Kenya money, Ghana money. So I knew this guy doesn't have money in his account. I felt pity because I had already started falling for him. So I dropped him now back to his house, and I remember his boys came out, and they greeted me, and I could hear what they're saying, that they've not had lunch or something like that, a meal, something like that. Then I offered to give him some money. I gave him 5,000 bob, and I went back to my house. Yeah, and I remember since then this guy never left my side for some time. Within 3 months, it was I felt ready to. It's okay, let him just move on, because he's always here anyway. So let him just move in. And after some I think a month or so, about 2 months or so, because where these boys were staying, and remember, I could see this guy doesn't have money, so he would, for some reason, I found myself paying their rent. And along the way, I realized, no, we cannot do this.
You're living with the Ghanaian guy, and you're still paying rent for the boys while
yes.
You're paying. Okay,
yeah. So now later on, they moved in. They all moved into my house. So I was housing 4 grown men. Now this guy, who is already calling himself my husband, and my son, and I have a house help. So the house help, for some reason, wasn't feeling comfortable, so she left. And I was also with my nephew, who I was working with in the greenhouse business. He's the one who was managing everything. So even him, he felt uncomfortable and left. But I didn't see all that. I was just seeing, I'm making my family, blah, blah. So I'm here now housing these men. And after, I think when we started living together, after about 2 months, I got pregnant. And the pregnancy lasted 2 months. I had a miscarriage. And I remember this guy crying. He cried. He said that I'm the one who doesn't want his baby. And so for me, that one was like a confirmation that he's really serious, and he's in. And after that, we started looking for another baby, and we were successful. We got a baby. I got pregnant, and now you remember, now because of the pregnancy, I wasn't working as hard as I used to. For some reason, the pregnancy wasn't very friendly. So I got lazy. I would just be in the house most of the time. So I started getting broke. Some money that I was even saving to buy a house, and I had put a deposit at Jamii Bora to buy a house. I ended up using that money. I withdrew it because the phase that was being constructed now ended, and they said that they are only going to do a higher rate, a phase that the next phase is going to be of bigger houses, which is going to be more expensive. So I said, let me just use this money I was kind of withdrawing it and putting it in his business. He was in the football business. So we would look for clubs out there, and sometimes we would get clubs, and he would organize to pay tickets. I don't know. I don't even know how these things were working. So at some point,
at this time, you're pregnant. This guy is still not like bringing in money to take care of you people. How about a job? Apart from now football, he didn't think of something else to do?
No, that is the only thing he was doing.
Okay.
And at some point, I helped him get a work permit here in Kenya through some lady who runs another organization. So she gave him at job title, like a missionary. So through that, he managed to get a work permit, and I got him a driving license. One time we even, I was investing just in his business. One time we went to Ethiopia with these footballers. I paid for they had, I don't know how they raised their own tickets to go. By coming back, they couldn't afford their return ticket. So I brought them back with myself and this guy. So
I can imagine these men were calling you mama, making it rain.
They were calling me mom.
Mom, making it rain. Okay, and then?
So now so I'm still investing in his business. He's not making any money. I'm giving him money, and at some point now, because I was pregnant, I didn't want my parents to find out that I'm living with a man or with people in my house and I'm pregnant, and they know nothing about it. So I urged him, we go to visit my parents, and remember, he doesn't have money. So go to my account, give him 50,000 to at least not to go empty-handed, to go home looking like a man. I even dressed him up like, the way you would want a man to appear to your parents looking like. So I did all that, and we went, visited my parents, and my father did not like him for some reason. Our parents always see things that we cannot see. They see ahead. There's an African proverb that says that your parent can see what your parent can see when they are seated. You cannot see even if you climb a tree. So he saw that. He cautioned me. I remember he called me in his bedroom, and for my father, a village man, to call you to his bedroom and tell you, he told me to sit on the other edge of the bed. And I sat. I felt very uncomfortable, but I sat because I saw some seriousness in him that I've never seen before. And he told me that he was asking me questions about this guy, and I told him everything I knew. And he told me that he wants me to go slow with this man because there's something that is not right with him. Something is not right. He's not talking the truth. So you need to go slow with this guy. And me and my love, I felt that I'm the one living with the man, so I'm the one who knows him.
Uko na bibi yako, hata mimi siwache nianze familia yangu.
Sasa mbona hutaki niolewe na wewe ulioa? Yeah, so we left back to Nairobi, and life continued. Now I started getting broke, and this man started. Remember, now he has a work permit and he has a driving license. So he would go out with my car, and he would come home sometimes with money and tell me that he's signed a contract with some footballers, or they've agreed with some footballers that he's going to manage them. I remember even one time one footballer came to our house, to my house, and he gave him some money to manage him. So he was doing that. And I think this is the only footballer who gave him money. These other monies he was getting from women. So he would go and talk to women, get women out there who have, and he preys on women who have children. So all the women that I know that he talked to, and I can count up to 4 women who called me to ask me if we are still an item, or what do I know about this guy. Because this guy would post my photos on his Facebook page once in a while, and they would connect. And these boys, the ones who I was living with, they are there calling me mom. His sisters would comment on my wall, calling me in-law. So it was clear that I was in his life, and deeply in his life. So one time, this guy went, and he never slept out even one single day. But I don't know how he was managing to lie to these women to give them. At least in my house, he slept there. So I saw commitment. But how, I don't know how. Anyway, one day, a lady, he went to see a lady that he was dating, and he got late up to around midnight. And I think before he came to the house, I was calling him and wondering where he is, because he's gotten late more than he ever did. And when he came, he told me that there's a lady that he's been seeing. He opened up and told me that this lady he's been seeing and this is what happened, and that they had a date, and he had to open up to her and tell her that he's married. So of course he always had a Bible, so he would plead with the Bible and with the blood of Jesus and kneel down and cry and beg that I forgive him, and of course I would forgive him.
He's with you,
Yeah,
but still seriously seeing someone else until venye alipatikana ndio akakuja confess about that woman.
yeah. And why I'm talking about this woman, because this woman, it was very touching to me when I came to know about it, because I felt sorry for her. As much as I felt sorry for myself, I felt sorry for her, because he would go to her house. Her daughter was calling him dad. She had gone to the point of almost introducing him to her priest, because she had told the priest that she's gotten a fiance, someone that they are going to marry, someone she's going to get married to, and so they were at a place where now she knew she had someone, and the fact that the guy was not spending a night in her house, I don't know what lies he was using, but it could be maybe have told her that he's serious or something like that. So that day that he came home late, he was with her, and she followed him behind with her car. She followed him behind to where we were living. We were staying in Kitengela. So when he parked his car in Kitengela before he came home, he saw her. He saw her car. So he asked her what she's doing there, because she left him in the house. And this lady had come with backup. She came with 2 policemen, because previously she had given him money, 200,000. I remember the day he came with that money, he started singing at the gate and telling me, baby, I've done something for you. So he came and gave me money and told me to manage that, and things are going to be well for us. We are going to make it, and
And he's saying the money ametumia to sign some other footballer.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what he was saying. So now this lady, when because she was there, she demanded to know the truth, where the guy lives, because she kept on telling him that she needs to know where he stays, and he would always have an excuse. So this time around she said, it is today, you must tell me where you're staying. So eventually now he had to open up, because she wasn't giving up, and remember she has backup, so he kind of got scared. So he opened up and said that he's married to a lady called Angela, and she's pregnant. The lady fainted.
Can you imagine?
She fainted. When she came to know now, because she knew about me, she looked for me the following day.
And did you know how long they were together with the lady?
I didn't know. I even up to now, I've never really known how long they were together, but it must have been a very short time, because between the time I started getting broke and that time, it was a very short time.
That day was
I was only I was about four months pregnant then. So then he started saying that now I think at that point he realized that his games are coming to an end, because everything he does, I come to know, and I would tell him that I will never follow you up. So now he started saying that if he leaves the country and goes back to Ghana, things are going to be better, because he's going to sell some property. He would show me drawings of a building that he was building in his name. He would show me contracts that people are waiting to go and sign. I would hear him talk to his sisters about contracts about clients who want to buy his property. So I was okay to let him go, to help him even leave the country, to go back to his country and sell this property and come back, so that we continue living. I was 5 months pregnant, and we tried to look for money to get him a ticket. We were not getting money, so I offered a solution and sold my car. So I sold my car and bought him a ticket, and used the rest of the money to pay bills that we had. We had rent arrears. We moved into a smaller house, and the guy left. Actually, before he left, even before we even moved, when we were moving, he didn't even know where we
Let me
moved.
just ask Angie, by the time you're doing these things, you're selling your car, you're moving somewhere else, and you're doing this for a man who you've known amekuwa akicheat, amefanya hizi vitu, you weren't scared that ataenda na hatarudi, or he was just playing you?
In my heart, in my mind, in my eyes, I wasn't doing it for him. I was doing it for my family. Yeah, that's what I was doing it for my family. I was building my family because I've seen my mother work. I've seen my father work. I've seen them contribute together to bring us up. So I knew that I too can build a home. I can hold my husband's hand and we build a home together. So this guy goes back to Ghana, and I'm still I'm pregnant, and I moved into a 2-bedroom house with my footballers.
They're still there?
Yes. And we lived together, and yeah, they would do everything for me from day one. Actually, from the day they moved in there, they would cook, they would wash, they would clean up, they would help my son to do his homework, they would walk him to school because I wasn't living in far from the school. So they would walk him to school, they would pick him from school in the evening. I introduced them even in the school. They would go be the ones to pick him. They were known in the school as responsible, the ones who can help me, who can pick him up. So yeah, now we had agreed that when he goes, he should be coming back at least minimum of 1 month before I give birth. Then he went, and he would send some little money, 10,000 here. Yes, something like that. So I would pay rent. Sometimes I changa from friends. I contribute. I ask friends, because I remember I wasn't working now. I was just in the house, and the day of giving birth came, and I was just in the house with the boys, and I told them, "You guys now, you have to leave." And I had started seeing signs that this guy is still lying about some things, because one day, I think about 2 weeks before I gave birth, he told me, I would tell him that you need to send money for the hospital, and he would lie to me that he's put money in his account, he's kept money safe for the birth, for the delivery. And I didn't know he was just lying, because one day he told me that he had sent the money, and I went, me and my big belly, we went to the bank, and the lady looked at me, and she was like, "No, there's no money here." And I told him, I called him immediately, and he said, "I've already sent. I don't know what's wrong with these banks. I just wait. They're saying that within 3 days it will come." And the lady was like, "Which 3 days? Nowadays money comes within 24 hours. You have your money. You just need 1 working day to get your money."
Are you serious? This guy sent you into the bank.
Yeah.
Pesa.
Yeah.
That money is a big joke.
Then
and you're pregnant, almost due.
Almost due. That's now when I started seeing he's not, I got upset, and I told these boys that they need to leave, they need to get a place to stay. They have families, after all, where they come from. They can be supported from there. So they moved out. I still helped them. I gave them a bed. I gave them my sufurias. I gave them, my plates and some things, and they moved out. So the day to go to the hospital came, and I had no money. I'm in labor and I have no money. So I went, I called a friend of mine who sent me 25,000. So I went to the hospital. I was told to pay a deposit of 10,000. I did that, and I delivered through cesarean. And I was in the hospital for 3 days, and this guy has not yet sent money. He's calling every other minute to get to know how the baby is doing. His mother is calling. His sisters are calling. They're asking, "How is our Nana doing? How are you guys doing?" And so day 3 came, and I'm discharged, and I don't have money to pay the balance. But somehow, I don't know, he got some money. He sent me 30,000. The bill was 40 something, about 45,000. So I still had a balance. I borrowed and added and paid for the balance and got out of out of the hospital after spending an extra day in the hospital after discharge with the wound. I was leaving the hospital. I had no one in the house to take care of me. So my brother, my elder brother, is the one who came to take care of me. He came, cooked for me, and slept over that night. And the following day, he came back, cooked again. It's like he had moved in for some days because I didn't have anyone else. And can you imagine your elder brother in this African culture? And you know, I was brought up in the village with, you know, all those values and those things instilled in us. We know, and it's not kawaida. It's not normal for a man to take care of a younger sister, but he did that. And later on, the wife came to stay with me for some days with her kids. And then later now, I was all alone and I had to look for a house girl. I got the house girl, and a month went by when I was supposed to pay her. I couldn't afford her. I couldn't afford to pay her. Just 5,000 shillings. I couldn't pay her. So I remember her people making noise to me, and I had to let her go. This guy, we were still talking. The father of my second born now. We were still talking. He would call every single day. He wants to know about his baby. I would send him photos. When once in a while he would send 5,000, 10,000, or just like that. And now we agreed that because he's not been able to come back to sell the property that he was supposed to be selling, and he's not managed to come back, why don't we organize to relocate and go and stay with him
in Ghana.
And I saw it like a good idea. So it was in July. My son was born in May. Now in July we agreed that we're going to go to Ghana, and we agreed that I'm going to get the passports for the kids, and he's going to send us tickets. So I started preparing now to leave. So what I did, I didn't have a job, so I would sell my fridge, my stuff from the house, my house items. And by August, when schools were closed, I knew that now my son is not going to go to this school anymore. So we relocated. We gave out some of the things. I even called a lady who came and carried clothes for her children's home. And she carried 2 trips in her car. She packed full. She packed a lot of stuff, and some of the other things I gave to my friends, my family members. Plates I gave them to my mother, and then we moved in with my sister, because it's only going to. I don't have a house help. I need to get my kids' passports, and it's only going to be a few weeks. Then we leave. Yeah. Then I called my parents and told them the plan. Of course, they were not happy with it, but they still backed me up. So we organized for a party. My friends, my cousins, my brothers and sisters, my parents, my aunties, they all came to see me off, to bid me, farewell. So they came. The party was on a Wednesday, and I was supposed to travel on Friday. And all this time, this guy is saying that he's already done a booking for the tickets, but he's not yet paid. So he will pay by Friday. Before then, we will have the tickets. He even talked to my parents and assured them that we are going to be okay. And for some reason, I was just okay with it, because I knew I had friends there. So I knew in case of anything, I would maybe get a backup somehow. I had even started talking to some of them to help me get a job there when I come there. So I knew life is not going to be so hard for me. I will still get back on my feet and start working. So Friday came and no tickets. A promise comes for next week, and another promise for the other week, and another one for the other week, and we are still talking every day. We are still with my sister. And I remember I had given out everything. I only had a suitcase of clothes. One suitcase for my clothes and my baby's clothes, my kids' clothes.
So wait a minute. You sold and gave out things, and this guy hasn't even confirmed tickets. Zanini hajaku. Are you serious?
Faith. Yes, I'm serious. So now October came and my son is still in school. I started feeling fear for him because, you know, that time we were not for him, even for myself, because that time the government had said that no kid is supposed to be at home. All kids have to be in school, because there are even public schools that are free. So, and my son is in the house, so I would tell him not to go outside the house. And I bought books and was doing homeschooling for him. So homeschooling for me started a long time ago. Since he was COVID. Then now I told him that I'm not going to come anymore, because if it has been so hard for you to get us tickets, then it will be very extremely harder to take care of us. Before I can get on my feet. This is a child who needs school fees. This is a child who needs diapers day in, day out. A baby who needs to be nurtured, to be taken care of. These are 2 children, and myself and yourself, and you've not managed to get us tickets. So it's not going to be possible for you to take care of us. So let me start my life here. You, when you get money, send me so that we, And we had agreed, when I sold the car, we had agreed that he's going to refund that money. Now, we agreed that he's the one to come. And he agreed, and I told him, when you come now this time around, everything has to be now done in the right way. So you must come with your parents, you must, do the right thing, such kind of things. And then I got a house help and got a job, a small contract in the construction sector. I did some interior design for someone who paid me good money. I raised enough money to move. I bought, second-hand chairs. I bought plastic cups and plates and moved out. I started life now. And this girl, my house girl, was very reasonable. She was very understanding. So even when I delayed her salary, she would just wait. Now, in December 2015, a lady calls me from Ghana and tells me that this guy has been lying to me. And it's bigger than what I think it is. It's not just the cheating that he's been having. He's been married. And I asked him, what do you mean? And she said, I'm telling you because I know and because I'm the wife. Yeah. And I told her, so where have you been all this while?
No, wait. This guy is married to someone in Ghana.
Yeah, to someone in Ghana. How long have you... I asked her, how long have you been married? And she said, for 10 years. So it's not something that happened when he left here? No. And I'm like, so where have you been all this while?
Wait. By the time this guy was coming to Kenya, were they still together or separated?
They were still together.
So this guy knew akona bibi Ghana?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told her to send me evidence that she is the wife. She's married. And she sent me photos from her wedding album. She snapped like from the wedding album, not something cooked in the internet or something like, not Photoshop. They were photos from the wedding album. Then I sent them to him, and he said, at first I asked him, and he said, no, that's not true, that she's lying, block that number, blah blah. Then I didn't block, and she said, when I asked her to send me evidence, and she sent, then I sent it to him. Then he started saying, oh, I'm sorry, I should have told you. I remember a time I was telling you that the longest relationship I've ever had was 10 years, but it was just dating. It was actually a marriage.
10 years, but including the year, the same year that you guys were together.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So,
no, wait, just wait a minute, yeah? Because the sister and the sisters and the mothers, then the mother to the guy was still backing you up. They knew that you're the wife, you have a kid for this guy. Did they still know that this guy is married?
Yeah.
And
they were in his wedding.
Was it a game?
They knew. I asked the lady, what about the family? And she said that they are all in it. Well, there has been a problem in their marriage that the guy, they've never had a child. But that, of course, doesn't excuse it. He should have been honest with me. And she said that they have all used her the same way. She met him when she had a lot of money. She's the one who funded the wedding. She's the one who was taking care of him. And for some reason, she was addicted to taking care of him because she didn't have a child of her own. So, and I sent him the photos, and he started being apologetic and all that. Of course, now I knew that have been played all this while. I asked the footballers. They said they knew, but they didn't have a choice. It's either they were told that it's either they keep quiet or they are thrown out of the house or something like that. So they are the ones to lose. They're in a foreign country. They will not have anyone to take care of them and all that. So everyone would, of course, have an excuse. When I asked them, the sisters and the mom, they said that they had to back him up because it's what he wanted. Now I got into a life of denial, a life of misery. I don't even know how do I face people? How do I face the world? And I remember around, that was in 2016, my father got sick. And he died.
Oh, sorry.
And in his deathbed, he said that he doesn't want hiyo story ya Ghana iishe. And for some reason, I knew, because he knew that I was talking to the guy still. I was still talking to the guy. You know, that thing of, it's like you're in denial and you're just stuck. You're feeling like you're so deep in it that you don't even want to accept that this is what has happened to you. But for some reason, I don't know, I managed to get out, but it was also another journey. Because after my father died, I was broken, and after what he said, I knew now I need help. I need help to either heal, to know what to do, to know, to find a base for my life. So I started praying to God to give me a counselor because I can't afford one. So, but I knew I needed either counseling or something. I needed somebody to walk the journey with me. So I started praying and telling God that I know you did not create me to just, to just sleep with a few men here and there and have children and that's it. What am I going to leave in this world? What is going to be my legacy? What are my children going to, to look at me 100 years to come? What is the world going to talk about me? For me to heal, I realized that I need to start taking responsibility. But this had to happen through a process of personal development. That one day I was in town. I don't even know what I was doing in town. And I was walking. I remember I was very hungry. I had not had lunch. I was hungry. That hunger that you feel that you want food. So I walked around Jamia Mosque, and there are those women who sell mabuyu there. And I bought mabuyu, so I was eating mabuyu in the street, and I met a guy who was my client in the construction sector. And at the time that I was working with him, I was already doing well. So by now he knew that by then I should be doing extremely good. So we talked about business, and I told him I am not doing well in business. I need help. Just give me hata kama ni kazi ya kupaka rangi, anything. Just give me anything I can do. Whatever it is, I need to raise money to take care of myself and my kids. Then he said, I want to invite you somewhere first before I give you that job. Then you come and just sit and listen. So he invited me, and I went, and I found that he's the one who was holding the event. It was an open day for a personal development class. His name is Stephen Muiro. He's quite a good coach. So I met him. I went for the open day, and I liked it. I just told him that I know I need this, but I know I can't afford you. So I let it just pass. And he said, no, Angie, I know you from where I saw you, and from the things I know you've managed to do, how you are doing your business and all that. I know you're a very aggressive person. Just come, something will come out of this. Come to class and I will give you a scholarship. And I went to class. Day 1 was awesome. Day 2, we finished, it was 10 weeks. And by the time we finished, I did not want to live a day without improving myself. A single day without improving myself. I knew that there's something in me that helps people have solutions. I helped a friend of mine who, when we were in college, who was about to, break up with her, who was about to get into a bad marriage, and she did not. And now she's happily married to the current husband. So now now I started looking back at my journey, my life, and I realized that there are times, sometimes we are created with our purpose. It's only that we don't know it. And probably that's why God put me in this world, and the same day he created pain in my life. That time, although I didn't know that I was in pain because I was a baby at that time. But I went through the pain through my mother. Now, after personal development, I started asking myself, how am I going to manage to, to step out in this world and call myself a mentor or a coach or what, how am I going to boldly mentor people or boldly face somebody who I was dancing and drinking with just a year ago or so? How am I going to tell those people this? It took me a whole journey and I was still going through the healing from what I had lost with this guy, losing my marriage, losing my father. And after my father died in 2017, when I was going through these classes, my classes, my brother died in May. And my brother died in May. It was before I started personal development. And when my brother died, I remember we were planning for his burial, and one day I went home and my house girl told me that she's feeling sick, and the following day I gave her some money and time to go to the hospital. She was treated. She was given some injections for 3 days. On the 3rd day, she was getting worse. So one day we came home. We were from planning my brother's burial. We came home. It was at night. My brothers dropped me home. And I remember after they left, I talked to the girl. I was asking her how she's doing. And what I saw, I just told them, you guys come back. We have to take this girl back to the hospital. So they came back and we took her to the hospital. She was sick. She was prescribed for some other medication. And she came home. Now, that was on, I think, Thursday. We were going to bury my brother on Saturday. So I called her mother and told her that I can't leave this girl here alone and I can't go with her home. So I need you to take care of her. So let us meet in Machakos. When we are going home, we will leave you with her. We first put her in hospital, then we proceed. And that's what we did. So Saturday she was admitted and we went, buried my brother. We came back on Tuesday. That Tuesday night, the mother called me and told me that she died. So I was going through a series of losses that I was asking, and I kept on asking myself, what are these pain? What does God want from me? What is it that I haven't done, or what have I done that really makes me deserve all this?
And especially when you're making a step of healing, and then something, just a loss that just comes.
Yeah.
Because at that time, you're still doing the classes personal development classes, you're discovering yourself, you're healing?
No, at that time I had not even started. I think I had taken you ahead before. It's a long story that sometimes it confuses me. But anyway, after now, all this loss is when I started
doing the personal development.
Yeah, asking God, what is this? What are you telling me? What is it that's, because I've always been a fan of Oprah, a fan of, and the people that she has followed who have nurtured her, people like Maya Angelou, people like people who have worked with her, people who have healed from pain. So I would listen to them. I would listen to Steve Harvey. And I remember one time I was watching Maya, and she said, nothing happens to us. Everything happens for us. And I started asking myself, what can death do for me? Death of somebody who, somebody has died. What is in there for me? Then I remember when we were having my father's burial, the priest who was preaching said that if we were to look at death on a positive side, we would look at it with joy. We would rejoice because this person is no longer suffering. And I said, yeah, true. If I look at my father and the legacy that he left in this world, because he was also a mentor, he left a big legacy. So many people have become, great people in the society because they went through his hands, his teachings and all that. So I would say that my father must be in heaven. My brother was, that person who has that heart for him to even just simply come and cook for me. This is someone who would borrow for me when he doesn't have and give me, and hide from his wife that he has borrowed for me, so that at least I survive with my children. So I knew for some reason there's something that God is telling me. And much later is when I realized that we just need to be ready. We just need to keep on growing ourselves. We need to keep on developing ourselves, because you might be thinking that you're in a bad situation, but you're not the one in control. Somebody else is. There's an upper power that is in control of our lives.
Yeah, true.
The one that calls the shots. In 2019, beginning of 2019, I had already registered my organization. It's called Angelic Achievers. And I had known that I want to work with people who are going through pain, and I want to help people to come out of pain, because I knew that if I can come out of it, even others can do that. So I now started asking for help to launch Angelic Achievers. And I remember I met a friend of mine who was a friend in the construction sector. I met this guy and he agreed to help me launch Angelic Achievers.
Nice.
He had a lounge at Kilimani. So we planned for a day, and that day of course I spoke. My coach came and backed me up, and for me it was like it's like God was telling me that you're doing the right thing. He's always going to send the right people to connect with me. And that's now what started, where I started my journey of now healing others. It was my first time to share my story of brokenness, how I was broken into pieces, and I am still healing. Even now, I can't say that I am 100% healed, because there's still that bit of loss, and I'm not yet where I was even. I'm not even a third of where I was. I'm still working on building myself up, helping people, and you don't have to have everything set for you to get out there and touch another person's life. So long as you've discovered your purpose, you have to start from where you are. You have to start with what you have. After all, your miracles are in your hands. Yeah, so basically that's what I went through.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. You have Angelica Foundation.
Angelique Achievers.
Angelique Achievers, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if like maybe there's someone who's watching and would want to reach out because of the organization. You can like tell us.
Yeah, my organization is Angelique Achievers. My number is 0720-265-374. My email address is angelanzilani@gmail.com. You can send me an email. You can you can just a brief email. I'm going to take you through. I have 2 programs that I run. One is fully for personal development, and I go all the way to helping you discover your purpose, helping you to even brand your purpose, and a training on public speaking. You get to learn how to to train to speak out for your brand, because even if it's purpose, it's not meant for free. We help others as we help ourselves.
Yeah, true.
And I also have this program it's a healing program. It's 6 weeks. The other one is 8 weeks. I have another one for 6 weeks. I help people walk through the journey of forgiving themselves, getting to discover, first of all, what has made them go through the life patterns that they have gone through. I walk you through the journey of healing yourself, healing life, forgiving life itself, forgiving those people who have hurt you, no matter what they have done, forgiving yourself, because nothing will happen to us unless we let it happen to us. Nobody will hurt you, Joy, unless
I allow it.
Yeah. If I slap your face like this, the way you interpret it is what will hurt you, but not the act itself.
Yeah.
It's the way it's the state of your mind that will hurt you. So the state of our minds is what hurts. It's what hurts us. Now, what happened to me doesn't hurt me anymore, because I looked at a different interpretation. So I help people now come out of that and start embracing life differently. And you might say that it will take too long for me to heal, so I don't have the energy to even begin. But guess what? If you don't begin, you'll never start. You'll never get anywhere. You must have the beginning. So people should feel free to reach out. I reached out and I got help. So people must be willing to reach out, because so many people are out there to help others.
Thank you very much, Angie, for sharing your story. I normally tell people, once the moment you'll share, that is a moment where someone else will listen to whatever you're going through and watasema, okay, so if she did it, I know I can come out of whatever I am going through. Everybody who's watching us right now, I want you to know that regardless of what you're going through right now, there's no situation that is too hard for God to handle. And keep telling yourself that yes, you can do it. You can come out of that situation. You can come out of that problem that you're going through right now, and you are going to heal. You can become a healer like Angie, but the first thing is accept that you have gone through it. Accept whatever it is. Forgive yourself and go outside there and just talk to someone you trust. Be open. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Night In with Joy Rongo. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ladies C.L.C. Our Instagram handle, Twitter, Facebook, same, Ladies C.L.C. See you next time.